Hi, I'm Jo from J.H.Leather, and in this episode of the J.H.Leather podcast, we are talking all about the stupid fault with my car, the one-to-one workshops, and what videos I have planned for next month. Okay, so I'm actually back. This is the second time that I've had to record this podcast. I'm not too sure what happened. I think there was a weird glitch in DaVinci Resolve that I do my recording in, but I recorded like the whole of the entire podcast and I went to listen back to it, and the whole entire clip length was me just repeating one thing. So I don't really understand what happened there. So I've restarted it a fair few times and now it doesn't seem to be doing it. So I'm hoping that this one's going to work. Anyway, so hello, welcome to the podcast. I'd like to say at the start of every podcast, can't believe where that month has gone. It's pretty crazy. It's going to be October on Sunday. That's crazy. Yeah, so I am looking forward to some nice autumnal colours. Autumn is a great time for that. In terms of taking photos and stuff, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get out a bit more because I have been having some car issues this month, which hasn't been ideal. Basically, my window wipers, it was all the way back in August now, my window wipers just suddenly stopped working for pretty much no reason, and so it's been at the garage for an awful long time trying to get resolved. I say we I'm not involved, I just get told what's happening. So the motor we took out and got a replacement for to see if it was that, but that wasn't the case. The one that we took out was absolutely working fine, and the one that we put in was working fine, but it didn't work when it was in the car for whatever reason, which led us to the electronics. So the fuse board, or the fuse panel, we took out just to have a look at that. The fuses weren't blown because I did check that myself when it happened. However, there was some corrosion on the fuse panel right in the area where the wipers go, which is I think what caused the issue. So the mechanic bought a used panel on eBay because my car is 2008, so Ford aren't making 15-year-old fuse panels for those cars. So yes, so we got a replacement one, plugged that all in, and the wipers worked absolutely fine. However, the car wouldn't start because it's not coded to that fuse board. So the mechanic has tried two separate fuse panels, computers, to try and code it. His two couldn't do it, so he has then tried a further two. So 4 computers have been used and they cannot recode the keys to actually get the engine to start, which is quite frustrating because the car works absolutely fine. If it's on the original fuse panel, it just doesn't have wipers, which obviously in Wales or in the UK in general is a must, especially coming into the latter half of the year, or the latter quarter, I guess. So so we're just waiting. Hopefully this new bit of software that the mechanic has ordered will work. He's been told that it should be able to code the keys. However, he's a bit dubious because he said it was very cheap software, and generally software courses an absolute bomb. So we will see. I'm hoping that it will work because I'd rather not have to go out and have to buy a new car because that's a bit of a faff. However, if that's what happens, then that's what happens. However, I just need a car because it's very frustrating not having a car. I can use Tim's van, but obviously Tim uses the van as well, so it's all a bit of a faff at the moment. But anyway, on to this month. So it's been a bit of an interesting month. The start of the month, we had a bit of a scare with Skylar. Basically, I took her out for a walk, and then that evening, her lymph nodes on her throat and on her back legs were really swelled, which was not ideal. So it was a Saturday night, so on the Monday they were still swollen. So off to the vets we went, where the vet wanted to just basically check because she had no other symptoms. She wasn't had a temperature, she wasn't lethargic, she was still eating all her food, she was absolutely fine. She just had enlarged lymph nodes. That is a sign of cancer in dogs, so that was quite scary. So she had a biopsy taken on one of her nodes on her legs, so she's got a bit of a bald leg at the moment. And after sort of a week or so of worrying, the pathology lad took their sweet time with this one. We got the results back, and thankfully it wasn't cancer, which is the main thing. So it is, however, she does still have an issue. However, it's not a problem in terms of what it could have been. So she's got something called, now I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this because I'm not very good at pronouncing it. So she's got a mineral associated lymphadenopathy. Something like that. Anyway, so basically what it means is she is got a sensitivity to pollutants, which is unusual for a dog that lives in rural Wales. The vet said if she did see this, it would be in dogs sort of in the south where, you know, they're in cities and stuff like that, and there's a lot more pollutants around, not in a dog that lives in the arse end of nowhere. However, it's Skylar, and she does like to throw us curveballs every once in a while. So thankfully she's doing all right now. Her lymph nodes have finally gone down. So with a mixture of antibiotics and anti-inflammatories. So that's good, because we weren't too sure at the start whether it may have been an infection, which is why she was on the antibiotics. But she is doing fine now. And all basically that happens. It's quite a rare condition. I spoke to my sister. She's a vet. She hadn't heard of it before. And so yeah, it's quite a rare thing for them to get. And it just, with the sensitivity to sort of minerals and pollutants and stuff, she sort of collects them in her lymph nodes, which is why they then enlarge, and they take a while to sort of flush out the system, what it seems to be. So hopefully she's going to be all right for a while now. We're not going to need to go back. But yeah, so that was quite a scare at the beginning of the month for us. Another thing outside of doing the leather work was the boat that we are doing, or our boat that we got. If you've been listening to the podcast and you are a fan of the Joe and Tim channel, then you will see that our boat engine actually failed and Tim needed to take it out and do a big strip down, and we have actually got a replacement engine. So he's been doing a lot of work on that, and that seems to be going really well. So I don't want to give any spoilers away. If you want to know what happens, keep an eye on the Joe and Tim YouTube channel, and I'll put a link in the description for that if you would like to follow along and see where that goes. Okay, so now on to the leatherwork part of this podcast. So we've released a few videos this month, the first one being the watch strap make along, which has gone down really well. I'm really pleased with how that got received. It's got quite a nice number of comments and likes and views on it, which is really good. And if you haven't watched it, I will put a link in the description below for that. And if you have watched it, I hope that you enjoyed it and you learned something from it, and you're now going to be able to go on and make your own fancy leather watch straps. Another video that I released actually came about as a result of questions on the Discord channel that I ran, and if you're interested, again, there will be a link in the description for that. It's a great community, the Discord channel. We've got loads of crafters on there asking questions and answering and sharing work and stuff like that. And basically one of the questions that come up was which creaser, you know, should people invest in, and all of that sort of stuff, you know, sort of some tips on using them. And so that is how that video came about, and that one has actually gone down really well. It's gone down a lot better than I thought as well in terms of its popularity. It's got the same amount of views as the watch strap video, I think even more, but it's been out only for about a week, so that's really nice to see. And sort of on the back of that, one of the questions that I saw in the comments was, you know, when should I use dividers or a stitch groove or a creaser, because they all make lines. So I think as a follow-up video to that, I will be answering that question in the video for October. I think it would be a good follow-up video to do. I was going to do one on the strap cutter, which I have got filmed, but I think I might push that back to get this other video out, because I think that's actually quite an interesting question, and it would be nice to sort of go over that in a video for you all. September also brought back some one-to-one workshops. Now, they have been incredibly quiet this year, mostly I think down to the cost of living crisis that we've got here in the UK, which has been a shame, but I totally understand. You know, paying to go on a one-to-one leather workshop is a luxury item, and when, you know, the cost of living over here is just, it's like I said, it's out of control. It's getting better now, but it's not been ideal for most of this month. So anyway, we had Helen come back. Now, she actually came for her original workshop. She had one at the beginning of the year where we were going over making new parts for bridles, and she came back. She's got another day booked, which we've already booked in for October. And so this week, or last week as it were, as I'm recording this, we went over how to make padded headpiece collars. Now hang on, I got the words all muddled up. We went over how to make padded headpieces for head collars. So Helen currently runs a rug wash business, and she's also doing bridal repairs on the side, and she's looking to start making more new stuff. So as part of that, she's wanting to go and do her skills tests in order to start the pathway to becoming a qualified saddler. And so she just wants to get experience making more new stuff, and padded headpieces was something that she wanted to do because she hadn't done any padding before, and it's a really good sort of project to work on. And so we did our padded head collar headpieces, and now, like I said, she has already booked in for October for her final day, where we're going to be going over the rolled throat for a head collar. And the reason for that is because, like I said, she's planning on doing her skills tests, and so on the head collar for the level 2 bridle, that has to have a rolled throat. So we're going to go over that so she can get on her way making her pre-made items. Another great benefit of having Helen back in the workshop is that she has a sewing machine very similar to my one. She's actually able to go over how to do the tensioning on it, because the instructional guide that I got was quite sparse, I think would be a polite way of putting it, and it sort of had a image on how to do adjust it so that the basically some knobs on the front of it. It's hard to explain. I don't really use the sewing machine very much, so I don't know the terminology of it. There's a couple of springed knobs on the front which you can turn, and that does adjust the tension of one side of it, and then to adjust the tension on the other side you actually do that on the bob end. So she was able to actually show me how to do that, which is really good because I am planning on recovering the seat cushions for our boat, and so as and when I do that I will let you all know. So if you're interested you can watch along, because I will be filming how I get on doing that, and my plan is that as long as they look better than the bad repairs that have been done on them, it should be fine. So no, I am actually quite looking forward to doing that, and that's going to be a bit of a winter project for me to get those covers done. There's quite a few of them, which is why it's going to take me a little while to do. So I'm going to start, my plan would be to start on the smallest one and see how that goes first and then go from there and see how we go on. Yeah, so that was that workshop. And then we also had Russ in. Now, he was actually gifted his one-to-one workshop day as a birthday present, which was really lovely. And he was a complete beginner. So to start with, we spent the morning doing our leather coasters, because like I said before, that it's a really good project to do if you are a beginner, because it covers all of the sort of skills that we need to actually go over when doing anything else pretty much in other craft. The only thing it doesn't really cover is skiving, but you don't really need that right away. So yeah, so that was really good. So we did that in the morning, and then in the afternoon we went on to make a notebook cover. And now the one that Russ made was really good. He chose to use the mid-tan leather that I get from Metropolitan Leather from the Lamport range, which is a really nice colour, and he paired that with a green thread, so it looked really good, and he was really pleased with it, which is the main thing. And we did overrun a little bit, but that's fine. I'd rather overrun and let the students go home with their finished projects and stuff, rather than have them have a great day but not finish their project. So we did overrun for about an hour and a half, but it's fine. Like I said, I'd rather the students go home happy with their finished projects than not finish, which that would be, I think if I was in a workshop and I didn't finish, I would be quite annoyed. So yeah, so anyway, we stayed on late and he got it finished and he was dead chuffed with it, which again is the main thing. He was really happy. And so he did mention maybe coming back next year, because he's looking at maybe starting to get into leatherwork a bit more, which is why his partner or his friend bought him the day. And now that's pretty much it for this month worth of excitement, I guess. So looking ahead to next month, the workshops are getting busier, which is really exciting. So to start with, I've got a mother and son coming for one day, and they are going to be learning how to make dog collars. Then the following week, I got a couple coming, a husband and wife, and they are coming for 2 days because they want to learn how to make padded hound collars. And there's a lot more stitching involved in that, and obviously cutting out the shapes for the hound collar can be a little bit awkward when sort of starting out. So they are coming for 2 days. And then if we finish, we should hopefully finish the padded hound collars, I would say around the middle of the day on day 2, depending on how they get on, of course, and then we can go on and make some little bits and bobs if they want to. And like I said, Helen is also coming back for her last day next month, which is going to be good. She's going to be doing the rolled throat for her head collar. And then currently I've got one more person booked in for 2 days as well, right at the end of the month. And he actually started, Marcus was one of our first students of the year. I think he might have been the very first, to be fair. In April, and he's coming back. He's still got 2 days left from his 3 that he originally booked, and we're going to be going over dog collars and leads, and I think he's doing some sketches and stuff for potential sort of engraving on his collars on the laser machine, which would be quite cool. So yeah, now if you are interested in coming and doing a one-to-one leather workshop, there are still a couple spaces left for October, and then after that then I will be closing the bookings for a few months, because the workshops aren't going to be open again until April, on April 1st, 2024, which, to be fair, really, when the speed of things isn't really that far away. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, if you are interested in coming on a one-to-one workshop this year, please do get in touch with me on info@jhleather.co.uk, and we can see if we can get you booked in. Now, along with the dividers / stitch groove / crease video and when to use them, the make along video for October has already been decided. I haven't filmed it yet. That is hopefully going to be done this week, and it is on a removable pen holder. Now, this is actually based on a commission. The lady who's ordered it for her partner, he has this removable pen holder and she wants him to have a nice leather version. Now, what's quite unique about this is that it has a elastic strap around around it, so you can basically put it onto any notebook. So that is what we're going to be making, and there will be a pattern pack for this that will be released at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've already got it planned. I'm making it out of goat skin, and it's going to be black, and I've got a nice piece of black elastic to go with it as well. And so yeah, looking forward, like I said, to making that. And then I'm also going to be planning what the make-alongs will be for November, which is pretty crazy to think that, that far ahead, but it's not really that far away really in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, so I think that is pretty much everything. Now, I know this is a bit of a shorter episode for a couple of reasons. One, this is the second time I've had to record this, but also the main reason is I have a chimney sweep coming today, and I need to get this recorded before he arrives. So yes, very, very exciting stuff going on here today. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for listening, and I shall catch you in the next episode.